I can pretty much guarantee that you've never heard this taught this way before, ever. Let's talk about the one thing that we all want and how to get more of it.
Feeling Good with Noah Hammond Tyrrell.
Hello, my friends. Noah Hammond Tyrrell here, back with another video. I make these videos to spread consciousness, to spread love, to support and awaken my fellow man, and to make the world a better place one video at a time, right? And because I love to. So welcome, thanks for joining me. And today we're gonna be talking about the one thing that we all want, what it is, and how to get more of it. So let's get into it. What is the one thing we all want? We all want a pleasant experience of life. Maybe you can see my little doodle here. I got a live audience. What's up, Lady Bell? We all want a pleasant experience of life. Period. Now, we go about getting it different ways, and I think that's worth acknowledging right up front, right? Because some people get triggered by words like happy. I don't need to be happy. I need to get the job done, right? Well, why do you need to get the job done? Well, because then I'll feel purposeful, and that will leave me with a pleasant feeling inside my being, right? We all want a pleasant feeling of life. We want to feel content, fulfilled, purposeful, meaningful, part of something larger than ourselves, like we mattered, right? We want to feel like we've done the right things, that we've been the best version of ourselves that we could be. Now, for some people, that means I want to be happy, joyous, bubbling, rocking, and rolling every day. And for other people, they want to run a 100-mile ultra marathon, grind and grit it out, David Goggins style. And at the end of that day of putting themselves through sheer physical torture and mental sharpness to overcome that physical torture, there will be a moment where they have ultimate contentment. And ultimately, from that kind of thing, they'll have a pleasant experience of life. So I just want to illustrate that there are different people that resonate with different approaches, right? More stoic approaches. This is about sacrifice and doing the hard work. More sort of new age approaches where it's like about feeling good and being joyous, right? And they're all ultimately seeking the one thing that we all want, a pleasant experience of life. And if anyone tells you they don't want that, they're straight up lying. Who really wants to have a crummy time with this one specific life that we get to have here, right? We all want a pleasant experience of life. So there's that. Now, how do we get more of it? Well, first we have to know who we are. If we're going to have a chance, a shot in all of creation at having a pleasant experience of life in this world of suffering and pain and problems and delusion, Yogananda called this world the world of three sorrows. This is a spiritual master talking. He said, Earth, life is a place of physical, mental, and emotional suffering. For most people. That's why I'm making this video, to show you how to get more of what you actually want out of life, a pleasant experience of life. So most people, this world is full of mental, emotional, and physical sorrow and suffering, right? Everyone gets old. Everyone loses those they love. Everyone experiences tragedy and loss and pain, physical pain and mental pain and anguish. I get it, and I've been there. And that's why I'm making this video. So let's keep going. So you need to know who you are. Who are you? Well, you're not your body, and you're not your mind. You are the soul that resides behind. I'll prove it to you. You're not your body. Your body changes all the time. I think I heard it's every 7 years, every single cell in your body is different. So if you were your body, then you would be changing all the time. But if you're like most people, you'll identify that you were there at 10 years old, and the you that you feel like is you is there now too. The you that was there at 10 is the you that was there at 20, is the you that was there at 30. When I ask, hey, are you in there? You say, yeah, I've been in here the whole time. I was there in 5th grade, and I was there at my high school graduation, and I was there at my college graduation or whatever, right? You were there all the time. Well, your body changes all the time. So you are not your body. That one's more obvious than you are not your mind. You are not your mind people think, well, I have thoughts, I'm in there, I do my thinking, this is where I live. But it's not. And the way you can know is that you can observe your thoughts. You can say, wow, that was a weird thought I just had, right? You can see your thoughts happening, even the automatic ones that aren't generated on purpose, right? We have our conscious thoughts where it's like, what is 1 plus 1? 1 plus 1 is 2, right? You did that on purpose. But then you have the automatic thoughts that come in like, Noah's face looks weird or whatever, right? These snap judgments or these unconscious biases or just random, my mind's trailing off. I'm thinking about Angry Birds right now when I'm trying to learn about the one thing we want in life and how to get more of it. And I'm thinking about Angry Birds. Did you consciously think about Angry Birds? No, the mind just kind of did this thing. And who you really are can observe the mind doing this thing. And even more solid proof that you're not your mind, if you need it, is that people have near-death experiences all the time where their brain is physically dead. There's no neural activity at all, but they're off having a conscious experience that they can come back and tell us all about. So even though their brain was dead for 20 minutes, when they come back into the body, they've got a lot to tell. So your brain is not who you are. Your mind is not who you are. Your body is not who you are. My guru would say, you're not this house of flesh and bone which sleeps, decays, and dies. You're a mortal consciousness, Lord of the earth and skies. That's what you are. You're a soul, your consciousness, your awareness. You are creative intelligence. You are the witness, the observer, whatever you want to call it, right? That's who you are. And that's a key component to having more of a pleasant experience of life. So if you're the observer, and you're not the body and you're not the mind, then guess what else you're not? You're not your thoughts, you're not your emotions, and you're not the things that happen out in the world around you, right? And those are the only three things that most people are aware of. You notice your thoughts running in your head. You feel the emotions generally in your body, although some people kind of cognize their emotions. And you observe events happening through your five senses out in space around you, right? Those three things are the three things that create suffering, right? In order to be sad, to have loss, you have to have a concept, a thought, an idea, a construct around what is loss and why is it sad and what does it mean and all of these things. And I'm not saying it's bad to feel loss. I mean, let's be real, we're still humans after all. And you should feel loss and you should experience it. But what I'm saying is that it's thoughts, it's emotions, and it's events that create the turbulence in our experience that takes us away from contentful living, from peaceful living, from purposeful living, from truly our highest potential in motion, actually. The more energy you spend being triggered by events or thoughts or emotions, the less energy you have to live in grace and to spread your light. Okay, it's very simple. So there's a fourth thing that you can observe with your awakened awareness that is ever present, that multiple spiritual masters have pointed to and talked about. In yoga, they call it Shakti. It really just means energy, cosmic energy, right? And the simple fact of it, without getting into a whole science lesson, is that every atom in your body is made in a nuclear reaction inside of a star. Every single one of them. And some of the atoms in your body are made in exceptionally big nuclear reactions in supernova explosions in stars. Yogananda used to say that in a square inch of space-time, there's enough energy to power the globe. It's all of creation is pure energy, right? We know this from splitting an atom. That's how you make a nuclear weapon. You split an atom and what happens? You can demolish 50 square miles, right? Where did all that energy come from? It's embedded in the creation. This creation is energy everywhere, right? So when you tap into your body with the awareness that every atom in your body is literally stardust from nuclear reactions, and that every single molecule and every single space between those molecules is permeated with raw living life force energy. That's when you can start to kind of have a conscious awareness of Shakti, right? There are more spiritual techniques to sort of actually cultivate this capacity. But just from a mental concept alone, you can close your eyes and you can visualize every atom in your being vibrating with energy, pure life force, with the force of nuclear weapons, right? Every atom in your body, right? I think you have something like 70,000 trillion cells or something like that. I'm totally butchering the number, but you have an insane amount of atoms in your body, right? Because I'm talking about cells and atoms are smaller than that, right? So there's a lot going on in there. It's pure Shakti, right? And if you see other spiritual teachers like Sadhguru talks about it, he says, my body is this inherently pleasant experience. Like anytime I tap into my body, it's just pure bliss. Bliss is what you are. Bliss is the creation in its rawest sense. And so to bring this again back to some yogic knowledge, in yogic texts, they talk about Prakriti and Purush. Prakriti is all of creation. It's everything you see in creation. It's Shiva, it's Vishnu, it's Brahma, it's birthing, sustaining, and destroying energy. It's everything you see in form is Shakti or is Prakriti, right? And Purush is the observing awareness or consciousness, the nothingness. You might call it God, because they say in truth, all there is Purush. All there is consciousness. All there is awareness and truth or love or whatever you might want to call it. If God is a word that doesn't work for you, call it creative intelligence, awareness, consciousness. And then Shakti or Prakriti or form, it's all pure energy. It's all cosmic energy. It's all that is matter. When you actually tap into it, it's bliss. So that's why when you tap into yourself from this awareness, you'll feel an inherently blissful state in your body. And I've never heard it taught this way. You know, you hear about in yoga, you hear about Shiva and Shakti, right? It's like consciousness and energy, right? And you hear about consciousness and bliss, Satchitananda, right? Ever-present, ever-new joy is a way that people like to describe the divine and what it is. And so when you talk about Shiva and Shakti, it's actually a prescription for living. If you want to have a pleasant experience of life or a more pleasant experience of life, the fastest way there is to do the work to disentangle everything that stops you from sitting in the seat of your soul consciousness, observing the body, observing the mind, observing the events out in the world, but primarily keeping your consciousness focused on the bliss of the energy body that you're inhabiting, right? You are pure energy. You are literally made in the stars. And with the right awareness, you can perceive that. And the more you perceive that, the more you are that. And who's doing the perceiving is your soul, a drop of the ocean of the infinite one, right? So consciousness and bliss is the prescription for living a pleasant life now. And it doesn't mean that you're going to be sitting on some yoga mat going om, 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 although that might be a way to start getting you towards these awarenesses. And there's techniques that are available that really can help facilitate this awareness coming into your actual experience. But to make this accessible to everyone, it's really about just starting that process of detachment. You can feel your emotions and you can witness them, right? You can see the thoughts that make you go, and fill your mind with disharmony, and you can start to try to witness them. You can see the events out in the world that you have judgment on or you think are wrong or right, and you can still start to try to witness them, always retreating back to the seat of your soul, to your soul consciousness. It lives at the very center of your heart. It's who you truly are. You are consciousness. And the more you practice being consciousness, the more you'll be able to be consciousness, regardless of what's going on around you. And then as far as what to focus on in the creation, since we have to be here and do something with our lives, focus on Shakti. If you are seated in your soul and aware of your bliss, you are vibrating at a very high frequency. And from there, there's no limit to what you can do. This does not make you a vibrating puddle of mess. I'm doing it right now. I'm not perfect at doing it, but my intention is to do it as best as I can. That's the path. And the better you get at doing it, the higher your frequency, the higher your vibration, the more light, love, energy you exude. And it doesn't matter if you're running that 100-mile ultra marathon, or if you're studying for an exam, or if you're doing your TPS reports at a job that's a stepping stone to the next thing that you truly care about. Doesn't matter what you're doing. If you do it from a place of consciousness and bliss, if you do it aligned with the highest truth of that which you are, you will do it better. You will do it more lovingly. You will do it to the fullest of your potential. It will not feel like a grind. It will feel like an expansion. Even hard things are fun if they're aligned with your truth. I used to train jiu-jitsu like 3 hours a day, 6 days a week, and worked so hard at it. And at that time, it was part of my highest purpose and good and expansion. And so it never was a grind. It was never something I dragged myself to, right? Even though it was hard workouts and focus and sometimes 2-a-days and all those things, right? It was joyous. It was blissful, right? And this is how you bring that into your experience more solidly. Understanding Shiva and Shakti, that's what you are. Consciousness and bliss, consciousness and bliss. So I hope this is helpful. I hope it's not too abstract. And I hope it's useful for people who are seeking to enjoy their life more now. There are definitely techniques that come well before what we're talking about here that can clear the clutter of our emotional debris and our mental debris and our limiting programs and beliefs and our limitations and doubts and fears and insecurities. Like, there are very simple techniques, and I'll probably make a video on some of the best ones that can clear that stuff. And as you clear and clear and clear, what you end up with is the truth, right, of who you are, consciousness and bliss. There is nothing else. And truly, only consciousness exists at the end of the day. So hopefully this has been useful and that you gleaned some sort of insight as to how to actually have more of a pleasant experience of life. It has nothing to do with what's going on out there, the emotions in your body, the thoughts in your head. Those things are all transitory. And actually, if we didn't cling on to them as hard, that's where suffering comes from. I'm going to make an entire other video about how to suffer less, because in life, pain, it's inevitable. Suffering, it's optional. So more to come. I love you all. I'm in this journey with you. So wherever you're at and wherever you're going, sending my love. Talk soon.